Hi, good morning. This is Sarah of Spa and Wellness Mexicaribe, and today I'm here with Jessica Wadley of Oakworks, and we're going to have a webinar learning about how advanced equipment can improve spa experiences. Jessica, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We're excited to learn more about these advanced wellness experiences we can create. So I'm going to hand over to you. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I'm going to take a moment to share my screen. All good over there, Sarah? I think so. Okay, excellent.
Perfect.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules, whether this is live on Facebook and also via Zoom. Thank you very much. I think right now is such an exciting time in wellness. There's so many rapid innovations, and we're really going to talk about it from that level. But your time is valuable. So here's what you can expect over the next 30 minutes with us together. At the end, we're going to talk about 3 tips on how to incorporate advanced equipment into your spa experiences. Really, that is, all about generating revenue with no labor required. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you can layer your equipment with other devices to create your own biohacking protocols. We'll review that a little bit. And then really, how do you incorporate into treatment, both massage and facials or body? And, it's really all about creating a unique and exclusive experience, especially within, the Latin America region. There's so many hotels and various places. How do we create that unique experience? And of course, we're all financially responsible to our GMs and our ownerships. But how do we really drive that revenue and increase that service ticket? So we'll talk about all of these, whether it applies to Oakworks or not. I think that's important today. And so let's begin. Now, before we do that, I know a lot of you have Oakworks and have known Oakworks for a long time. I thought it would be fun to share just a 2-minute video on seeing the factory and seeing the people behind the brand. And it's a fun story, even if you're passionate about equipment and manufacturing, and regardless, I think you'll enjoy this video. So thank you for that. So it's just a quick 2-minute video that we will see. We're heading over to YouTube.
So Oakworks was established in 1978. It's been over 43 years. Fun story about Jeff and Linda. They were living on a commune, and they were completely off the grid in the 70s and 80s. They really were hippies, and they were living a true health and wellness lifestyle. Their friends on the commune convinced them that they should build the first massage table. We're a global company, but we're very much a family company. Still today, we have 75 men and women in our factory in Southern Pennsylvania, building our tables with love by hand. The 2 to 3 key features that Oakworks is known for, it's really all about the comfort in the face. We want to make sure that there is no nasal drippage when you're laying down, or when you get up off the table, that there are no lines on the face. Think about it. How do you feel when you get off the table and you have those lines? Or if there is that pressure in your sinuses when you're laying down, it distracts, it takes away from that massage. Our buoyant space cushion really is the best of the best. It has 6 patented water spheres within the cushion, and what it has done is it's designed to float the guest's face and actually promote circulation while laying down. I think the hot topic today is supply chain, lead time, ensuring that you're delivering on time. And then also, after it's installed, how do we repair and maintain those pieces of equipment? So we are a domestic company. We are made in the USA. Yes, we do have parts and we do have electronic components that we have to purchase from overseas, but we don't ship finished goods over in large containers. We have had some amazing men and women with our company for over 30 years who specialize in supply chain management. And to give you an example, we used to carry $1 million in raw materials. Today, we carry $4 million in raw materials just to ensure that we are not facing supply chain issues at a great magnitude. You could have that confidence that your equipment is going to be delivered on time for your new opening or for any aging equipment that you do have. The concern with serviceability is twofold. One, having a live person answer the phone who knows the product well, who is articulate and well-spoken and who cares and who can troubleshoot with you. And also the equipment should be very simple, clean engineering, plug and play parts. You want it to be very simple. We're really a general maintenance person or sometimes even a front desk person can target and troubleshoot. The other thing that I would add to that is ensuring that parts are readily available. Since we are made in the USA, we can overnight those parts to you or get them to you in a rapid manner so that you do not have any downtime. Risk management is such an important topic to GMs or shareholders or ownerships within a company. You really want to minimize any therapist potential injuries, and you also want to minimize any incidents that can happen with your guest while they're on the table. Having those triple safety third-party valid certifications is absolutely critical. We really work hand in hand with you throughout the design process. Sometimes there are designers involved or architects or your general manager, or sometimes it's just yourself. But we really handhold you throughout that process to ensure that we're going to achieve the look and the level of comfort and the guest experience that you desire. My name is Jessica Wadley. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for the Integrative Health and Wellness Division at Oakworks, Inc. Oakworks succeeds ultimately when our customers are happy. We've had relationships with people for decades.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to see that. I think it's always fun to see the factory and the full story of where it comes from. And now we'll fast forward into what is cutting edge, what is happening. As we know, I put throughout this presentation the new vocabulary words. What is buzzing in wellness? Our new SOVI system, Vibroacoustics. We're going to talk about that. How we've known for years, all of you are experts on this call, that, sound therapy has been very important in our industry. We've seen many versions of it coming and going. And if you take a look at these words over here, it's sound therapy, then it's music, meditation, and almost in this, chronological order, the advanced terms really now are binaural beats. And binaural beats have been around in the healthcare space and the wellness space for a long time. And the next level to that really is neuroscience. There's many different content providers. Oakworks stays very true to our core competency, which is building loungers, building tables. We really wanted to take our time and really think and do it correctly because there's so much new, cool, cutting edge technology that we wanted to be an open platform to empower you as the spa director to choose from all of these different content providers. Companies like, Universal Companies, for example, has their own binaural beats soundtrack that you can download on Spotify. There's Brain Tap, there's New Calm, there's all these wonderful different content providers. And what we wanted to do is do what we do best, which is design that equipment, but have it be an open platform for you to really choose from any of those types of content providers. So let's talk about binaural beats for a second. Do start researching it if you're not educated already. What they do is it's different megahertz of sound. And through many years and years and years of research, again, so many different providers, so many published white papers on this. They're designed to trick the brain to go into different states. And it's a beautiful experience if you haven't ever experienced it, whether you're looking to go all the way down to the theta state, which is the brain state right before you're in a deep sleep to sort of reset and recharge for the day. I like to use New Calm at 2 o'clock. I'm always up at 5 a.m. in the morning on calls. And then by 2 o'clock, I really need to recharge. So that's a great time in the afternoon. And so you can use that programming within the spa from different content providers to generate different types of experiences that work within your menu. So whether that's looking for relaxation, whether that's looking at stress management, or whether you have a business traveler who has a very important upcoming meeting, or somebody who's traveling who has a very important social event and they need to recharge, whether it's an athlete who's attending your hotel and they're looking at enhancing their productivity. There's very cool programs and settings that you can add to that experience. Now, this can be either embedded into a lounger. So when you're looking at your CapEx planning and we're looking at loungers throughout, whether it be in your relaxation area, why not have that relaxation area finally become a revenue generating space? Or, if you're a true destination spa, and your minimum stay is $2,000 a night, this may be just an amenity that you want to add to your circuit within your destination spa. So it can be a revenue generator, it can be a standalone, and the real true point of difference is having speakers embedded into the lounger or into the table. I'm going to talk about tables in a second. I'm sticking with loungers here for a moment. But what it is you have 2 speakers embedded into the top. You can see that here. And then you have 4 vibratory elements that are syncopated with the tracks, with the binaural beats. So now it becomes a true immersive experience because and for those of you who want to experience it, we have some upcoming events coming down in Mexico around the end of November. So put a pin in that, contact myself and Brian, and we'll be able to immerse you and have an experience. But I think here's the true thing that you need to know when you're selling, recommending, being creative. Your customers are savvy. They know what binaural beats are. It's advanced just past music. Then there's another layer to it. There's content providers who have elevated that to a neuroscience level where they have the true white papers on that. And then there's really quick programming that you can do to really add that to your spa menu based upon what it is they're looking to have done. So I think, again, the true point of difference is having speakers embedded into the table or the lounger so it does not impede massage. It doesn't get in the way of the therapist. That is really key. We took a long time, quite honestly. We were one of the last to come out into the marketplace, and it was because we were busy. We were busy testing, making sure that it was tried and true. But the most important thing was, with all the supply chain issues that are going on, we wanted to make sure we had a fast lead time. We wanted to make sure that we had, if you zoom in here, you can see my little arrow. This is the extent of the hardware. There's an amplifier in there. It's nice and flush. There's not all this external equipment that gets in the way, wires you have to manage. It's Bluetooth capable. So it's Bluetooth capable with any device that's out there. I think that was the most important thing to us, as we wanted a really clean look. We didn't want extensive hardware, and we wanted the price point to be really accessible. Why did we want the price point to be accessible? Because we know that you have an ROI to achieve, and we know that your equipment has to be multi-purpose so that you can perform massages on it and facials and have it be a standalone treatment if you need be. I think that's really the true point of differences here. So such exciting times. You can add headphones if you need as well. So if you have multiple pieces of equipment where you don't want your sound conflicting, you can have that. Or you can have speakers illuminating the room. And so that flexibility of choice is just so exciting. Super fun fact, you just saw our factory, but we didn't want to be dependent on people having supply chain issues like we've seen over the last few years. So we now print all of this interface in our own 3D printers in our own factory here in the USA. And that was something that was really important to myself and to Brian and to Angie, so that when we were interacting with customers, we could instill that confidence. So super exciting times. We could spend a lot of time on music, meditation, binaural beats. Please, just today is a live webinar. We're here to really walk through with you different types of content providers and help you select, and we'll have fun with that as well. So we've formed great collaborations with all of them. So pro tip for Mexico, this is so cool, is that in order for you to have a music that is acceptable in Mexico, it has to be a subscription. So good news, any of your subscriptions that you choose can be broadcasted, if you will, or embedded through our Sovi loungers or through your treatment tables. So that's really wonderful. I actually learned that from Roseli at the Conrad and Puta Mita. So she was the one who taught me that. Shout out to Roselia if she's watching. But I think that is just so huge that, any of your subscriptions can now truly be embedded into the treatment table. So let's talk about treatment tables. I know it's a small image down here at the bottom, but why would you want to enhance? You could either enhance your massage. You can set it up as a standalone protocol. But what's beautiful is if you want to not only choreograph a beautiful treatment in conjunction with a piece of music, or if you want to select a true binaural beats track where we're actually working on the brain at the same time as the body, that is just really the sweet spot, I think. And what's great about that is you're not having to buy a whole separate piece of equipment, because here's the reality. 50% of the population is going to want, and that's a lot, a vibroacoustic experience. And 50% of the population, it may not be their cup of tea. They quite honestly may want a digital detox. When I'm traveling and when you're traveling, when you've been on your phones, you may or may not want that experience. And I think that's, again, really the sweet spot is, at an accessible price point as an easy add-on to your pieces of equipment. It's just a true no-brainer. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to add it into the chat. Sarah, you can chime in at any time, or again, we're available after this. So super exciting time for us to be incorporating into this. And it's really been an evolution. It's a beautiful experience. You can have the vibratory elements syncopate in with the music and really enhance that massage. And the therapists really love it too. That is the other key. It doesn't require a lot to operate. And I think that is so important. It's not complicated and very, very easy. So that is the newest in vibroacoustics and music and binaural beats. And now there's a really easy way to implement it within your spa. So here's the other new wellness term, and I'm sure you're hearing it everywhere. It's biohacking. Travelers, especially as we learned during the pandemic, Mexico, Latin America, the Caribbean, heavily reliant upon tourism. It went away for 2 years and now we're back. I was just with Sarah and everyone down in Cancun area, and the whole tourism is just alive back to see tourists. That means we need to be unique more than ever. So whatever your vision is, and we can help brainstorm with you again. It's really cool to take a lounger or even take a table and add different layers of various levels of biohacking. So compression is compression devices. There's Normatec, there's Hyperice, there's all kinds of beautiful compression devices. That is absolutely a sweet spot if you've been golfing all day, if you've been on a plane, if you need that renewal, it layers beautifully on top of pieces of equipment. Our lounger is a stationary zero gravity lounger. That's very important. That is a point of difference. When you're in zero gravity, it promotes extreme relaxation because it's taking pressure off of the gut. Well, I think because it's a stationary zero gravity, that makes it even a better solution for layering these types of biohacking devices because they're not rocking anywhere, they won't fall off, and the guest, is much more stable in that way. PEMF mats, it's funny, there is some amazing PEMF manufacturers, and this is actually used. I know this is going to sound scary and it shouldn't be the way we sell it to our guests. However, it's actually used in animals and horses to rejuvenate horses. So PEMF is huge. And then neuroscience, layering them things like with infrared masks, etc. You can really get creative, and the Carvo Lounger is perfect to be able to layer and add that onto it. Now, could you layer it onto a treatment table? Absolutely. In a coming follow-up slide, we're going to talk about, how we can place tables into zero gravity and layer it there. But if you want to be unique and think of recovery areas, I know another new trend is bringing recovery out of the spa and into various places on property, creating recovery lounges, such as you see here. This is Accor, Century City, Fairmont there. So things are really getting excited and creative. And again, we're here to assist you with that. So biohacking, new wellness term. The other new term, especially coming out of the pandemic, and I realize most of our properties, are here on the ocean, but respiratory wellness is the other buzz term. The Salt Therapy Association. If any of you want information on that, if any of you are interested in that, that conference actually took place yesterday. Susie Ellis was there from Global Wellness Summit. Nancy Griffin, Leo Tonkin is the chair. But there was some really great talks about the newest and latest in respiratory wellness. So I put the website down there, but some of it you can go back and watch live. So SALT is huge. Respiratory wellness. Do start thinking about these things within your menu setting and planning, within your CapEx planning for next year. Whether you do build out a space for that is important. And our loungers are actually meant to withstand the salt environment, preventing that erosion. So if you have any questions on that as well, but respiratory wellness is absolutely key. And that's a great resource that was just from yesterday as well. So they have actually over 3,000 members in the Salt Therapy Association. So, and I think that, the fact that Global Wellness Summit was there and really participating is an important thing as well. So really great. And just for fun, new trends in wellness, new sectors, IV infusion. There's a company called Covery. There's another one called Restore. This is really taking the US by storm right now. And I think it's going to start, and it's interesting, for those of you who have large luxury hotel groups, some of your chief operating officers or your general managers are going to be a little leery, but because of the fact that it is IV infusion, they're going to be leery. But I think it's important for you as a wellness professional to know the trend that is taking place, even if it is or isn't right for your property. It's important for you to know what could be going around, and it is just taking the US by storm. So for example, 80 locations are popping up, Restore, so on and so forth. So that is really huge. I'm going to show you some things, but IV infusion is going to be huge. And a lot of properties now are having medical doctors, nurses, so on and so forth to oversee that. So anything from vitamin C infusion to hydration, all of those things are a huge important part of wellness. And then to the left here, just Cruise ships. Cruise ships are abound. Some really new, unique things for design with that, but incorporating sound, vibratory elements, they're really stepping it up with that too. So your guests are going to start to really demand some of these things on land when they come to you, when they get to you. So just for fun, pro sports and athletes, this is the #1 wellness training center in Las Vegas. They train the Las Vegas Raiders. They train the top boxers from all around the world. Boxers travel here to Project Wellbeing. They travel here to restore and regenerate and physically train their bodies. There's some very famous boxers here, very famous UFC fighters here, but this is one of the most grandest wellness centers in the world, and they are doing all of these things. And so if you're looking at some of your fitness programming, if you're looking at some of those things, this is the ones really to follow. And, let me know next time you're in Las Vegas for iSpa. We could do a great tour through this place. They have all Oakworks, all cutting edge. We've designed so many custom things for them. And, gyms are really emerging. They're not this ugly box that they used to be. They care about design. So we can do that for you too. If there's custom laser engraving or custom colors, but every single day I turn on the TV and I see a different boxer, a different NFL player, or a different football player in terms of even soccer as well. And, UFC and fighters. So really look to them as the leader in these new wellness sectors. It's going to be a global expansion, and, they are doing IV infusion, PEMF, everything, massage, you name it. So follow them on Instagram. If you want to see the cutting edge of the cutting edge, it's definitely them within the athletic training space. I mean, look at these guys. They look so cool as well. So for that reason, we have developed restorative therapies, accessories now. It's like, how do we make all this stuff still look good and have pretty aesthetics? So yes, we have IV poles that we're now attaching. This is really cool. This medical grade bolster. And by the way, all of our products are medical grade, manufactured, as you saw, and I don't mean to be repetitive, in a medical environment. But that means that's an ISO 10993 medical grade fabric. It's standard across all of ours. It's not an upcharge. So that your portable tables will last. That your regular treatment tables, all of your loungers, how do you disinfect it? How do you still make it luxury and beautiful? I mean, we were able to accomplish that with an IV restorative therapy lounger. So just some really cool new accessories that we've come out with making it really slim and conducive for tight spaces. The cruise ships are going to want that. A lot of these places don't have a lot of space. So we made it very slim and conducive, but this is very cool. Just file it in the back of your mind. You may think, oh my gosh, I don't have any place for this in my spa now, but you never know. Times are rapidly changing. So do think of us if you look at IV therapies here in the future as well. So this is very cool. So, and I'm sorry, my slide is blank, but that's because a video is coming. And I want to preface it with this. Massage is still 80% of our spa revenue today. It's still the highest in demand. I really feel like when the pandemic happened, the big thing was touchless. We don't have enough labor. Yes, that still is a challenge today. But in reality, massage still is 80% of your business. And I think it's very important as an industry, we don't turn our backs on that. And so I want to share this very new, and it is a 2-minute video, cutting edge video about massage and what tables can do. Now, the hard part is always training and implementation. How do we train our therapists? And so there are some really cool new things in massage that I'm going to share with you in this video here.
So this is one of my favorite.
Of course, there was going to be an ad.
It's a beautiful daytime shade. This color.
There we go.
In this video, we will show you how to use our tilt-top table models to create the ultimate massage experience. Our 4-inch and 6-inch thick systems use no memory foam, making it easier for therapists to reach under clients. The Boyance pad doesn't leave marks on faces or put pressure on eyelashes. The platform can be adjusted to the perfect position, typically above level and tilted slightly down. Sinus pressure makes it hard to breathe and can be largely avoided by tilting the head up between 4 to 6 inches above the feet. Independently controlled backrest and leg sections can be used in many ways to make clients more comfortable. When face up, raise the legs to take pressure off the lower back instead of using a bolster under the knees. You can raise the backrest and leg sections and tilt the table, creating a zero gravity position. When face down, you can raise the leg section and tilt up the head end of the table. And you can store positions that clients find comfortable and less stressful for you with the memory button. ABC offers incredible comfort for women and more. Start with the platform level and lower it bit by bit until they're comfortable. It is designed to support the breast while taking some of the pressure off. It can also be used when they're face up as a headrest, or when using the Boyance as a way to passively stretch pectoral muscles. The Boyance shelf is designed to work with our quick lock face rest and create a lowered arm support, or it can be used to create a perfect head support for facials that allows great access. Fusion has 3 levels and is integrated into the pad, creating a very even heat. Sovi can be used during massages. 4 elements gently vibrate and 2 stereo speakers provide soothing sound. Headphones can also be used. Oakworks advanced designs help you deliver the ultimate massage experience for your clients while taking care of yourself.
All right. And so it's such exciting times because when you look at a treatment table like this, and let's talk about price for a moment. This is the top level, beautiful design. We can take any of these finishes and match it to your spa. And then we can incorporate Sovi, create a very unique indigenous audio experience infused with the vibratory elements that's only unique to your spa, or take it to the next level with neuroscience and various binaural beats and incorporate that into treatment. And there's other models as well. So if because I know some, various spas have various budgets. Some are looking at this and saying, oh my goodness, I only have flat tops. If you elevate your flat top to a 2-tower table and, add the salon top, which is what you see here, you're automatically going to elevate your spa to that next level. And I'll tell you, your therapist will be happy. There's a great access all the way around. And now we can take our treatment table and it can be massage, it can be facial as you saw. And I think that's really the key. And it can be your vibratory elements all into one. So very, very exciting. Like I said, the times are so exciting that we're in. And again, we're here for you should you have any questions. I love that video because that is the video that you should share with your therapist so they know how to use the table. That's really why we created that video. We thought therapists have a short attention span. I do. We all do. We're in a TikTok era. It's all about dopamine hits, quick dopamine hits. It was very important for us to create a quick video for therapists that you could use. And that will also ensure that they're loving it. So in summary, the new wellness buzzwords, because, it's also can be overwhelming. It's exciting, but it can be overwhelming. And there's some very important things for you to consider. Choose the equipment at the right price point for maximum return on investment and CapEx planning. I travel 75% of the time. I'm in spas all over the world. And I see, and manufacturers are salesmen. They are salesmen and women. It's how often is it going to be utilized? Will I be able to make a profit on it? Is it up and running in service? Sometimes I like to choose different high-tech pieces of equipment and they're not even working. And so, you have a responsibility as a spa director to make sure that what you're choosing is going to have that ROI and make sure that it is that CapEx. And that's why I think to create a safety net, it's important that it's as multi-purpose as possible as that table that you just saw in that first video. Because if sound music goes back out of trend again, you have a really beautiful piece of equipment for massage and facials and body that will always be the highest in demand. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but touch is the new premium. Robots robot massage is the newest thing that's about to emerge. Touchless, all of those things, it's here to stay. But what it's doing is it's making touch a true premium. And I think in my mind, that's the silver lining. So if touch is tried and true and will always remain, that is why it is so critical for you to protect your ROI, to make sure that your guests like it. You have a piece of equipment that can beat all of it. Make the therapist happy, have the guest happy, because really their first desire is touch, but that can also incorporate types of vibroacoustics at the same time. This third bullet point is so critical. As you know, we are a healthcare company. We're 50% a healthcare company. And a lot of companies call themselves medical companies, but we're true FDA Class 1 and Class 2 listed. When you start to look at all of selecting your advanced equipment, make sure you are doing your research on contraindications. Make sure you read the fine print. Things like naturally pregnancy, pacemakers, thrombosis, all of these things oftentimes are being called out as contraindications. So please do your research. We're very, very careful whenever we launch anything into the marketplace that there's low EMF and there are as minimum contraindications as possible. Some of these vibratory elements, they're equipped with huge magnetics and they're vibrating the body. And I know you want that as an experience, and sometimes it can be the right thing, but there are real contraindications there that you need to make sure that you're educated on. Sustainability, naturally, so important, and cost drivers, especially within Mexico and Latin America, the Caribbean as well, same thing. How far you are having to ship, just from a sustainability standpoint, those transportation emissions, when they're having to ship from China or Asia or Europe all the way down, the global footprint that is leaving, I really like geographically where we are to you. And that's important because we're right there. We have serviceability. We have a very strong distributorship. And that transportation to you is much shorter than anywhere else. Pennsylvania to Miami to Texas is just right there. So, and I say Texas because sometimes there's freight forwarding from Texas as well. So, just what you're saving on freight and transportation emissions alone are thousands and thousands of dollars, and then how we're saving the globe. I think from a sustainability standpoint, most manufacturers are very conscious about materials, of course, and there's that, but that's a very important note that, just can't be disputed, really. And then clean, certified, sustainable engineering, service, and reliable. Brian, Angie, myself, we are out there. We hear it all. We know who's doing a good job, who's not doing a good job. And that dependability for service really is everything. Nobody's perfect, but it's how fast do you respond and how fast do you fix it? And I think that's the most important thing. And we want to hear it too, if there's ever ways we can improve. And luckily we do have that with our customers. Touch is the new premium. Choose wisely, choose very wisely right now to avoid becoming obsolete, or to avoid, your guest may or may not tell you whether they were happy with that touchless device or not. They just won't come back. And so keeping that flexible, open platform as new content providers emerge is absolutely key. So I hope this really helps you as well. These are Jessica's words, Oakworks words, Brian's words, but it's really about our customers. These are just some of the latest projects, our friends in the geographic area, but these are our testimonies. These are the recent projects, and there's many, many, many more. If I missed you and you're on this call, of course, I'll put it in as well. But yes, I think this is the most important thing, and it's really all about our friends. So And then lastly, thank you very much. Myself and Brian are here for you. Here is our emails and WhatsApp. We're both on WhatsApp nonstop, so whichever works for you. And we will be in your area soon. We're both down there several times a year. It's of course our favorite destination, naturally, and so we're also there as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. That was fantastic. Let's, should we stop the screen share and then we'll move to a few questions. Okay, so one question is about the binaural beats.
Yes.
So you have the stereo speakers, one in each side of the headrest.
Yes.
Binaural beats typically would be delivered through headphones so that you can clearly get the different megahertz beat in each ear separately. But does that work through those stereo headphones on each side of the head?
Really good question. So there's different theories and schools of thoughts out there. When you have true binaural beats, you're 100% right, Sarah. Ideally, that should be through headphones because those different megahertz at different rates are going to drop that brain into theta state. Now, Newcomb, for example, which we have a collaboration with, they will advise all the time for various, so they have a mode that's for recharge. You can use that through speakers because it's the cadence of their specific content in music that works through regular speakers. So this is where we get a little more consultative with the different spas, because different content providers have different levels and different science behind it. And so Newcomb you can use through regular speakers. It still is ideal with headphones. In a treatment room, though, picture a dark treatment room. It's just you and the massage therapist. Your speakers are embedded right into the table, right on the left ear and right ear. You're going to be able to identify those megahertz and get that there. So naturally on a loud trade show floor, that's not going to be the case, or in maybe a multi-unit area where you've got multiple people, socializing and laying together like a relaxation lounge. But in a treatment room, it's really beautiful to have it just right in the speakers.
Wonderful. Thanks for that explanation. Yes.
Yeah.
The other one is PEMF that you're talking about.
Yes.
Electromagnetic fields. And for anyone watching who isn't sure, maybe Spanish speaking, who isn't sure what that is, that's campos electromagnéticos pulsados. So obviously we have the term in Spanish. And can you explain to our listeners, is that something they're going to feel the effects of? Or I know it's well researched and obviously the effects are, there is an effect on the body, but is it something that they're going to significantly feel?
Oh yeah, you have to experience it. If you haven't felt it, you get off the table definitely feeling it. And Oakworks is not a manufacturer of PEMF. What we have done is formed a lot of collaborations with PEMF manufacturers and made a way to make those mats look appropriate through seamless integration, if that makes sense. I will tell you that I hear mixed reviews when it comes to PEMF. If somebody's body is really fatigued and needing that regeneration, they really love it. And I've had other people say, you know what, like, for example, Sarah, you're wonderfully one of the most fittest people I know. And I've had individuals who are extremely fit say, you know what, that was not my cup of tea. And so that's really the risk with some of these things. Some people feel, rejuvenated, and some people really feel, I feel anxious after I just got off that piece of equipment. And so test it for yourself. Do your own research. Mm-hmm. Our job at Oakworks is really to, if you decide to incorporate that, if you really get consultative with your guest, our job is to finally make these third-party pieces that are challenging to implement and look good, sometimes look really good on the pieces of equipment. So I hope that answers your question. And again, contraindications there. I mean, things have contraindications, just research and do your homework.
Perfect. Thanks for that explanation. We have another question about how can Oakworks products be used with halotherapy and in salt rooms?
Oh gosh, I am so excited about that lounger. And so with salt, you do want to have as few electronic components as possible. Makes sense, right? Salt, some salt rooms have a real generation of salt particles in the air and blowing, and then others have, a wall. So if you have a simple wall, a minimal amount of electronics are going to be okay. If you really have salt particles blowing in that room, I was just at Angie Smithy's property in Gainey Ranch, one of the best salt rooms that exists. Then we're going to advise you to strip down as many electronics as possible and do a stationary table. So we have options for it all. Again, we have some really great testing going on right now with Salt Chamber and to incorporating SOVI and so on and so forth in those rooms that just, have a wall. So hopefully that makes sense. There's different levels of equipment that are appropriate depending on the intensity there.
Okay, thanks so much. So if anyone wasn't clear, obviously salt does have an effect on electronics. So
yes,
the more salt in the air, the harder it can be on any electronic equipment. So what Oakworks is doing, if I'm correct, is making sure that those tables that are going to be inside salt experiences are resistant and durable and can handle that salt in the air. Perfect.
Yes. So for example, I would do SOVI in that situation, but maybe not heat and LED. Too much, right? You don't want your heat to not have the longevity that you want. So now other manufacturers may or may not sell that, but it's still electronics at the end of the day. It makes sense and it could affect the longevity. So yeah.
And when anyone's investing in equipment that is a considerable investment, they want it to last a long time and they want it to stay in good condition, which is a concern for everybody. Jessica, thank you so much for your help. I don't think we have any other questions at this moment. Thank you so much for sharing all the information with our listeners today.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. We're going to stop the live stream now.